So next we're going to do a door schedule. And so like anything else in Revit, that data is already stored in your project. I'm going to turn off this CAD drawing. I'm going to go to VG. In fact, I'm going to turn it off from everywhere in the entire project. I'm going to go Insert, Manage Links, grab that CAD file, and unload it so it's no longer anywhere. And here I'm going to tag all the doors. Now, if I click on a door here, you see here when I edit the type of door, actually when I just click on it once, um, they should have a mark. That's the door number. So for example, if I made it 100, I don't see the tag yet, but if I go to um, tag all, I can tag all the doors. This should show up as 100. Tag all the doors automatically. Hit apply. All the tags show up. So all these doors have been given numbers. This one happened to be 100 because I made it 100. If I click here, you see it's 100 right here. I'm going to come back and change that later. But you see all the doors get tags. Curtain wall doors do not have tags. They have tags, but they don't have answers. They don't acknowledge a tag number. You'll have to enter the tag number yourself for curtain wall doors. Everyone else is fine. Everyone else shows up here. In fact, that's not a door. It's a little bizarre. It's tagging that wall. That's a side light. I'm not sure why it's tagging the side light. Maybe it's including it as part of the door. Maybe that's what's going on. Like it comes at one as a separate door type. I don't know. If I put it here, for example, that's fine. I'll leave it there for the time being. So these are all the door numbers that show up, and now I need to produce a schedule that itemizes them all. And again, you want to make sure these are visible. Right? That doesn't make any sense. Right? You want to make sure you spend a little bit of time and move them around to a place that you can actually read them. This room number should be turned on with the leader, and it should be moved out of here. You see, it gives the leader back to the room, so you know exactly where that room belongs, and I can read it. Most important is I can read it. So let's make a schedule. So view, you got your schedule command, schedule and quantities, and you've got a door schedule, door option right here, door schedule. If I hit OK, what information from all the categories that are possible for doors do you want to include in your schedule? You might not have everything you need here, but I give you a list of which ones to use. So the mark is the number. So that's mark is called the number here. And then if you want to show where the door is coming from, you can change this menu here from room. And regarding from room it's coming from, you can actually find the room name and put it here in the list. Then go back to your doors and add the rest. We're looking for the frame type. We're looking for the frame material. We're looking for the finish. And that could be the finish of the door. It could be the finish of the frame. We want the dimensions of the door. So we're going to go width. We're going to go height. Find height. We want thickness. Thickness. And then we don't have things like door type. We're missing a door type. We're missing door material. We're missing door finish. It's not included on the list. I could use some other name and change it to become act like a door type, door material, or door finish if I wanted to. If you look here in the schedule, if you look here in our schedule, but our floor plan here, you can see what they've done with their schedule. It's a little more a little more detailed than what we're doing here. So they have door number. That's called a mark in Revit. The room location. So we have a from room pull. Door type. This is manually entered. Material and finish, manually entered. Door size combined. We could make a door size field. I split them up into width, height, and thickness as 3 separate columns. Type, material, finish. They don't have door, door type, door material, door finish as options. I'm ignoring these in the end here, just for this exercise, this project. So, what can we do? So we can make a new parameter. You can come in here, this little button here, and make a new category that you might want to need, that you might want to see in a schedule. And so we're going to make one called door type, door type. And what under data type, what is it that we're trying to capture? Are we trying to capture a length of something, an area of something, a slope of something, time? We're trying to capture text, an answer, like ABC. So that's called text. So we do this, hit OK, it adds it to the list. We want to make another one, door material, because again, it wasn't on the list. And I want to capture that as text. Another one. We want to make one called door finish. And we want to make sure it entered as text. So it wasn't on this list over here on the left. And because it wasn't on this list, I made them up. You can do that too. So when I hit OK, it pulls together the schedule right here. Again, you probably wanted to grab all the columns and you might want to make them all centered. And then you want to change these headings to be capitalized. Everything should be capitalized. So for example, this should be door schedule, right? Schedule. And then this should be door number. This doesn't make any sense. From room. This should be room location. Now, these are describing the frame. These are describing the doors. And so when that happens, you can actually group these together to make it a little more organized, a little better organized. And they kind of do that here in the schedule too. You see how they grouped all of these finishes under the heading door. We want to do something similar. So all you have to do is grab everything that belongs to the door, for example, starting with width, click and drag your mouse. I think I can grab them. Can I grab them up here? No, I got to grab them here. I click on the last one here. Click and drag your mouse and group. You see, I grabbed them all, even though the first one wasn't highlighted. And then make all these door. And then click on finish and drag it back and go group. And this is called frame. Let's do what they did. They made all this stuff justified, for example. Okay, so these are all door, width, height, thickness, so on and so forth. And so if I know it's door category, then I just need to type the width. There's no sense in keeping it lowercase. So here, thickness, thick. Then door type. Well, just use type. I know it's a door. It's part of this category. Door material. Let's just use material. Door finish. Let's just use the word finish. This finish belongs to the frame. So finish. This is the frame material. So let's just call it material. This is the frame type. Let's just call it type. And there's everything I need. And so the next thing to do is just to come in here and make a new sheet, right? So we're going to make a new sheet and hit OK. We'll call it door schedule. Schedule. This is a, I think it's 10.1, if I'm not mistaken. 9.1, 9.1, 9.1. And then onto this, we grab our door schedule and drag and drop it off. There's a door schedule here. It's really, really tall. See? And then what I can then do is start pulling on I can start formatting this, the text to be smaller and make it single spaced and make maybe the title bigger. That's about formatting. We've done that before. Right? Double click, appearance, get rid of the blank space, make the text title bigger, but make the answers maybe small. Hit OK. Maybe I want to grab um, now here, if I want to change this to bold, this text here for bold, I go with font and I choose a bold style. But I got to do it for every one of these because if I look at my appearance, I don't have any other options here. I don't have like Arial bold, for example. So what you do is you make a new text style. If you want to add it to the list and make this process much quicker, instead of having to highlight and change it to font and make it bold and do it like 12 times, a much faster way of doing it is just to go back to your floor plan, go to annotate text right here, and make a new style. Like let's duplicate this and call it Arial bold. So I'll call it John's Arial bold and make it bold right here. It says bold right there, bold. So now I made a new text style. It looks like this. So I don't need it. I don't need it here. I need it on my schedule. On the schedule, right here on the schedule, you can go into the appearance now, and I've added another style of text called Arial bold. Now they're all these just change automatically in one step. Much, much faster, right, than doing it individually. I hope you all agree. But those are some shortcuts you can take to make the schedule. This is all you need to do is put a schedule on this page. And then you got to fill out the schedule. And I would reference, the schedules on this sheet here and use similar information. So type, they seem to have different types of doors, but for this exercise, it's fine if you make them all the same type. Just call them one. Come into here and then just type one. Unfortunately, you have to copy and paste. I mean, you literally have to go into every one of these and type one. There's no fast way of doing this. There's no drag command in AutoCAD or in Revit like Excel to drag these down. So you'll have to choose cells and just type quickly and fill out the blanks. I'm just typing one and just finding the ones that I didn't do the first time. There. Okay. Material. What are the door frames made out of? And for the most part, here they're made out of the entrances are made out of aluminum, and the rest of the doors are made out of hollow metal. So I would do the same. You can find the vestibule here. This is aluminum, always capital. Aluminum, and then it becomes part of the list. Lobby, aluminum. Everyone else, hollow metal, HM. And again, double click, highlight the text, Control C to copy, and start pasting them into cells and fill out this list. A finish is typically painted, see, painted. And so PTD, highlight, Control C, Control V paste, Control V paste, and just start pasting them into the schedule until all the answers are filled out. Way too fast. The type of door, they have like ABC. Um, Basically, the type of doors are sitting on the schedule here. These are different door types here: solid doors, glass door, a pair of glass doors, a single door, a door with a vent. These are typically from the mechanical rooms. You can see all different door styles here. Um, Feel free to make them all the same as an exercise. Just we'll just call them all A. Just call them all A doors. Or feel free to mix them up if you like. Completely up to you. A material. All the doors are made out of. See here. Doors are made out of um, aluminum or hollow metal or wood sometimes. Uh, Take a look at the rooms they're in and fill out that. Again, feel free to make them all the same if you like. Um, so, for example, aluminum, and just start filling in the list. And finally, the finish is painted, PTD. And they also have another option called clear, CLR. If you want to do the work and figure out which ones are which, feel free. Otherwise, make them all the same. And all these are going to be filled out. Copy, paste, copy, paste. We'll fill out the door schedule. This is missing a door number. And this is 100. This list is out of order. And so we want to make sure we sort this list, sorting. We want to make sure we look at the door numbers, the marks, and we go up ascending. We do want to see every door. So we want to keep this. And you see it fills out the list. This is the first door here. Doesn't have a number. I can give it a number. Let's start at 40. So I can call this door 40. And I can call this one door 41. And it automatically sorts the list. And it puts you exactly in the right position here where it belongs. This schedule then is pushed into here. This wants to probably be a single space, so make it longer. That's it. Any question on door schedules? No? Pretty straightforward. This information that I'm pushing into here, if I look at a door like this guy here, you'll see here that door now has the information that we added. This door is painted. It's aluminum. It's door number A. It's hollow metal frame, and the finish is painted. You see, it pushes the answers into here. Either you can type it in here and put it into the schedule, or put in the schedule and it puts it into the door. So, for example, I know that door is wood. So, for example, I can just simply call that wood, and it's a clear wood finish. It's hollow metal frame and the hollow metal is painted. So that updates the schedule automatically. Or you can go to the schedule and change it here. Anything you change here pushes the information into the door. If you're not sure where these doors are located, like this head librarian door, I don't know where that door is located. I simply highlight in the model and it shows me the door here. That's the side light. With it highlighted here, you can basically put in the answers here. This is aluminum. Um, the door, I mean, it's a window. Window is glass, whatever the case may be. And it changes the schedule automatically. Starts filling in the answers. See over here. And then you do the same with the frame, right? Highlight and model. You can close this and then change the frame here at the bottom. The frame is hollow metal and the finish is painted, PTD. Done. That gets pushed into the schedule automatically. See, this is now filled out. Either way you work, the list will complete itself. right? And all the new columns I made, these here, I made these 3 columns custom. They added those custom columns to the door family here. They're not normally here. These don't exist normally, but I made a text category, and in that text category, I'm collecting door finish material and type and getting the answers. And then the mark is down here. That's door number 3 right there. If I want to change it, I change it here, or in the schedule, or on the symbol. Click on the symbol and change it here. Any number of ways. Okay. The last schedule is the room finish schedule. So I go to view, I go schedule here. I do R for rooms, double click on rooms, and this is the information that it collects on rooms. So the rooms information we're looking for, or a few, we want the room number. We want the number here. We want the name of the room. Name of the room. We want the area of the room, how big it is. That might be useful. We can even include the level it's on, the occupancy, what it's used for, or the occupant. There are a number of ways of doing it. You can add the perimeter if you need the perimeter for whatever reason. All this information is available. I want to figure out what the floor finish is, the base finish, the wall finish, and the ceiling finish. Hit OK. And you see, it pulls every single room into the schedule automatically. And you're probably going to want to grab everything here, center it. Unless you want to make this left justified for the names, it's up to you. And grab the title there and make the title itself centered. And then the rest is up to you all to manipulate. Room schedule. Again, you can make this this list appear on a sheet. I right click. I'll make a sheet called A10.1 and just grab the room finish schedule and drop it off. So here, room schedule, drop it off. Really big, right? But it's big because the fonts are big and because this is a double spaced. So all of it you can change, you can fix, right? So we've done that. We've already done that before. So I'm going to make the headers bold and make the title quarter and the answers 330 seconds. I want to sort this room. I want to sort this in order because it's going to be out of order. Don't forget to sort by room number. And I do want to see every single room. Checkbox is here. There you have it. These things that say not placed, these here that are not placed can be right-clicked and deleted. And it deletes those rooms from the project because they don't belong probably. You can always make them again if you need to, but these rooms here are not placed and not enclosed. Those are probably not rooms anyway. So we're going to delete those rows too. It erases the tag from the project. This thing is just called room, which is bizarre. 3 square feet, that seems a mistake. I click on this. I find out where it's located here. Highlighted model, fine. That gap in the wall, we know that's not a room. That's easy. So we can grab this and just delete that room. It deletes the room model and the tag, both at the same time. It's very quick. So in terms of the again, you're going to make all these capitalized. And then you're going to rename these to things that make sense, like, room, like room name. You can see my instructions. This is room number, for example. You're going to make all these capitalized, change the names according to my list. Floor, just enter what you used. Did you use CPT number 1? Did you use a terrazzo? Did they have more than one? Maybe you want to put the word varies, CA 1.6, because there's more than one floor in that area. what did you do in these rooms? A lot of these areas are all together in the same spot, but um, you know, quickly you can tag these or just say varies. See the floor plan. The base is always resilient. Rubber base, RES. Wall finish is typically brick or chipboard. So the only place there's brick, I believe, is the lobby. Right, the lobby has a brick wall, but everything else is chipboard. And the ceiling, you know what the ceilings are, either they're chipboard or they're acoustical tile. If they're both, then you might want to have a note here that says varies CA 1.4, right? Because that's your reflective ceiling plan because you're using more than one ceiling type. The meeting rooms, for example, have more than one ceiling type, right? This room here is chipboard and acoustical tile. So you can just go to your list and say varies CA 1.4 because I don't. It's more than one. It varies. So you'll fill this out as well. This will be all. These will all be the same. This will probably all be chipboard except for the lobby, which is brick, and maybe the vestibule, which is glass. This would be chipboard acoustical tile or varies, and this you can see what you're used for the floor. Pretty. I mean, based on your design, you aren't. This project isn't using many floor finishes. So if we look at the finished floor plan, there's only 5 areas. That list should only have CPT 1, 2, 3, and sealed concrete. That's the only thing that should be on that list. Just put these answers in there and be done with it. And you have your schedule um, placed on. You see how the schedule got smaller, and you just simply place it onto a sheet, and this will be filled out. Oh, this one has the double space here for the here. I made it a little bit longer to get it all on one line, and I made these uh, thicker for the headers, and I made all the answers show up here. You can see very quickly. You can see the data that you can pull from this table that are very useful for your projects. Okay, that's it for schedules. Okay, so any questions on? Oh, there's one down here that's really long. Let's make sure that's on one line. There, everything fits now. So any questions on any schedule we talked about today? Furniture schedule, door schedule, the room finish schedule, anything at all? So this might be a relief. We're not building anything this week. We're simply just completing a CD set of the type of information that typically appears in a set of drawings, like schedules. Um, not creating anything three dimensionally. Okay. Well, um, next topic in class is going to be um, display graphics, and let's walk through those again. In this project number 10, you're only going to use colors in your 3D views, either your isometric views or your perspective views. Nowhere else. Everything else should be black and white, not gray, black and white, literally. And when you look at your 3D views here, you can start making changes to them to make it a little more presentable. And there's several tools in Revit that lets you do that. And there's certain mistakes you want to avoid. One of the biggest mistakes is that you don't want drawings sitting on top of the title block. here, and here. These drawings should probably be on the same angle. It looks a little odd that they're not exactly the same. And you might want to fix some cropping issues that you might run into. Like these are different angles. It's distracting. You might want to make the scale bigger. You might want to add shadows. So let's take these apart one at a time and talk about what we can do to put our best foot forward when it comes to making these presentation drawings. So let's say here, for example, these aren't the same angles. If I click on this isometric view, I can use the upper right hand corner of this view cube and set it to a certain location, the upper right hand corner. And then I can basically make the other drawing, double click on it. If you can't click on the drawing for whatever reason, if you ever have trouble clicking on a drawing, you can pop open this little menu here in the sheets and you can click on it here. So there's this perspective view. This is the one view here that was using this corner here, which is correct. And this is the opposite corner here. And this should be using, um, this is locked. So I'm going to unlock it, and click on that corner right there. That guarantees both views are exactly the same. Then I can put a padlock on it later and save that orientation. But you want your sheet to look presentable. Let's say, for example, we want the building to be here, and I've got a little bit of room to make the building. This is probably because it might be not letting me touch it because it's locked. I'm going to unlock it for a second and see if that's the issue. Oh, this thing is, this is one. This is the other one. The title's over here. Maybe that's why. Click on the title and drag it over here. So let's say I had a drawing on a sheet like this, and I had a drawing on a sheet like this, and I wanted to make them bigger. I mean, it's going to overlap based on who was on the sheet first and second. So you might want to turn on your crop box to do this work. You want to crop the drawing, and you might want the drawing to only focus on the building. So that's all we really care about. And you might want to do things like turn off those layers, like the annotation tab. Annotations, just turn them all off. You don't want to see those layers. The levels, for example. And by doing that, if I double click on the sheet, I now have a drawing that looks like this. I can do the same thing with this thing here. I turn on the annotations, crop box. I crop it close to the building. Say something like this. Again, I don't need to see level tags, so VG. Turn off the annotation tags, all of them. And place it on the sheet. You probably want to line up these title blocks. And you can actually make these a little bit bigger. So to make isometric drawings bigger, you click on them and you change the scale here. I'm not sure if this will work, but if I'm at 1/16 of an inch, I'm basically here. I can make it slightly bigger here. If I click on this one, I can make it slightly bigger here. 1/16 was here. I'll make it 3/32. See how that looks. And then if this is what you're doing, then you're not going to be able to put them side by side. That's how big you want them to be. You're going to probably put them, one above the other, and then you're going to probably adjust the size of the title blocks. And then the space you have left over can be used for perspective, depending on where you want to put it. Obviously, that's not going to work. I can have some more land here. I can crop off this building. and probably close to the building so that I can just scooch it over. And again, make sure these title don't sit on top of the sheet ever. So there, for example, we've got all the drawings onto the sheet here. In these views, you want to hide the crop box when you're done. Crop region visible. Just turn it off. Double click on this one. Turn off that box. So there, they're on the page. This is a perspective view. Honestly, you'd probably want to double click, show a little bit more of your roof. In the perspective views, you want to see less floor and more ceiling. And again, the looks like the column grid lines are turned on here. I want to go into annotations and turn off the entire category because I don't want to see those. You can format your sheet which way you like, but again here I don't have to crop this because it's no longer interfering with this drawing here. So I can actually come back here and make this box a little bit bigger. It won't be a problem. Again, turn off the box when you're done. Right there's a crop box. I don't need to cut off that corner there and then hide it when you're done. So there. So this is the main entrance of the building. I double click on this. This launches the view. And what do you want to change in this view? Well, here under graphic display options, you have different settings. Here are a bunch of different options you have. So there's a bunch of other choices here, and they all are dependent on what you choose at the top. Not all these options are going to be available based on this option here at the top. This is your style. So for example, if I'm using hidden line, let me zoom in this a little closer. If I'm using hidden line for this view here, let's not do it on the sheet. Let's do it in the view itself. Again, I can see the views here. This guy here. So here, I can go into graphic display options, and I can make some changes. So here, the silhouette is set to none. That means the line weights aren't showing through. If I change this to wide lines, the thickness of the edges are going to appear kind of like a SketchUp model. See how nicely that looks? See those edges just popped out? And the columns are silhouetted? Or I can use medium if that's too thick. You use medium, but again, medium doesn't seem to appear. I mean, it's very subtle right there. So if you really want to emphasize these window openings and what have you, you can use the silhouette called wide lines. It really makes them thicker. Depends on what you want to do. Here it has shadows. Ambient shadows are soft shadows that appear in the 3D model. And it gives you this look. You can stop there if you want. Maybe that's all you want to do. This is the style you're looking for. They also have another style. Sorry. They have a style here called shadows. And I'll put shadows on the model. So in no time at all, your models are looking a lot more interesting. But where do those shadows come from, and how can I change them if I needed to change them? You can actually have a method of changing those shadows. Well, let's continue on this list for a second. So shadows. Do you want ambient shadows? Yes or no? You can have one or the other or both. If I turn off ambient, it looks like this. It gets brighter. If I turn it on, you see this little soft shadow shows up around the model. A sketchy line is basically making this drawing look like SketchUp. So if I turn it on, jitter is basically how nervous your hand is while drawing by hand. If I go up to 6, you can see it looks pretty sketchy. See? Extension is basically at the intersections of the corners. You want the lines to further extend beyond the edges. See the little tick marks show up here? See how the little tick marks sticking out here as if you intentionally drew it longer? It's a drafting technique. I personally never used the sketchy lines. You can if you want to. Depth keying, we'll deal with that later. Lighting, this is where you can control your shadows. The shadows the ones called cast shadows. So here, the shadows set for 50%. If you go 0, you don't see any shadows at all. If you go to 100, the shadows are black. And now you have everything in between. So if you want to tone down the shadows, let's say from 60 to more like 30, you're going to see more of this area underneath this canopy here that's all in darkness currently. You see here, it becomes lighter. It's softer. But you can darken it if you like. So far, so good. Ambient light might not have an effect on this. So if I use ambient light, you see it has no effect on this image at all. It doesn't work with hidden line. The sun, bright intensity, has no effect on this drawing whatsoever. Nothing's happening. So ignore these two. They don't work. When they call the sun settings here in session lighting, that's the exact same thing as choosing this little sun here, little sun next to the box here, and using sun settings. You can actually make a recording of where the sun is located and put it in this box and have it change your model. So for example, if I come into here, the sun, and use the sun settings, currently under lighting here, it's set, they call this in session lighting. Basically, it's the same as the top right. On this view, from the top right corner of the screen, over your right shoulder, the sun is coming in that direction. If you want the sun coming over your left shoulder, looking at this model from above, over the left side of the screen, use the left side. Apply and come over the left side. So depending on which one you like better, you choose one of these options. Or you can duplicate one of these, make your own. John's lighting. And I can decide where to put the sun, angle above the ground. And if you're looking at a floor plan, you draw a circle around the floor plan, 0 is also 360 degrees. So you have the sun following the building around the building in a circle. You decide what angle you want it to come from. So the sun's come from 90 degrees. It's coming from here. Over there, 90 degrees. And 180 degrees. When this button doesn't work, choose something else, and then it shows up. There's 180 degrees. Or 270 degrees. Probably around the back of the building. See, everything's in darkness. You probably don't want to use that one. You probably want to use that opposite. 180 degrees opposite of this, which is probably 100 or something. So you can move the sun around the sky and decide what angle you want it to be above the ground. And the lower the number here, the longer the shadows. So if you want it steeper at a 45-degree angle, this shadow gets closer to the building because the sun is now steeper. So you can record that here, John's lighting. And then under your settings here under your lighting settings, right there, John's lighting is being used. I can also click on that button. It does the exact same thing. The exact same thing. You want to make it more interesting? You can click on this, choose still, and put it in Chicago at a certain time of day or anywhere on the planet. I'm using a still this time. I still got my recording here called John's Lighting, but I also can make a still. These are the different types of the year. Assuming this is facing north, and it is, I can make this building show up in Chicago at a certain time of day. So for example, here, I want to make this menu open a little bit bigger. I'll do a search for Chicago. As badly as I butchered the spelling. Chicago, click Chicago, search, and choose the, why did it keeps disappearing on me? Chicago, search, and choose the link right there. Now you're in Chicago. Okay, in Chicago. Okay, what about the date? This was a long time ago. I'll click on this number and it pans out to the years. Pan out to 2023. And then I can make this today's date. Right, so you got 11/8. And then I can make it 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is where the sun is today on this building at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If this is facing north, then that's where the sun's at. This building's totally in shade. If you wanted to look at the sun at early in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, well, the sun was here. If you want to look at where the sun was in the summer, August 1st, 8 o'clock in the morning, or 7 o'clock in the morning, the sun was here. So you can decide exactly when and where the sun is on a calendar and match and see if the solar shades, like this is a big, solar shade basically, is it working in the middle of summer? If I'm sitting here at noon, am I still in the shade? I'm totally in the shade. So you can use this if you like. But I'm changing the summer solstice. What you want to do really is you want to duplicate, make it your own. Duplicate one of these and make it your own. Because right now, this is the fall solstice, is the spring solstice, the equinox, winter solstice. The summer one I just changed. I put it in Chicago. But you get the idea. Whatever you do here, it'll push this information into this menu. If you don't like that one, you can go back to lighting here and use this one. This is fake. Up to you. Realistic doesn't work because I'm not using the realistic mode here. And then the background doesn't make any sense if you're looking from above the sky. Let's not worry about background. So this is what your drawing could look like as an option. This is what it looks like currently. This is what it could look like. So I made all those options, and I want to take those options and make them apply to this view. You don't have to start over. What you can do is record these settings and apply them to any other view. What do I mean by that? I mean, you can this is basically a very standard 3D view. So under graphic display options, I can record everything on the screen as is here, saving as a template. Call this, ISO black. I'll call this ISO standard. This is the standard view. Okay. All these things here that are checked are going to be recorded as part of this template. The template is the recording of all the settings that you chose. Anything that's checked is going to be recorded. These are not being recorded. It doesn't care about the scale. Unless I check this box, it's going to record the scale. Let's include the scale. And here, level detail, fine. Let's include that level of detail. VG means visibility graphics. Anything you turn on and off in this menu is going to get recorded. Anything you turn off in this menu is going to get recorded. Visibility graphics, VG, are all of these. Everything else in here can be recorded. So this is stuff in blue has been recorded. I'm calling it isometric standard. Okay. Fine. Go to this one. This is different. It says shadows, looks nicer. Go back in here. Go graphic standards. Save this as a template. Call it isometric black and white shadows. Right? And record anything you want to record. I want to record the scale. I want to record the fact that this is be fine level of detail. I didn't change anything visibility graphics. So I'm not going to do anything there. But these are all the options here, right? The model options, display options, the shadows, this menu here for shadows. It's recording them. So now you can do the following. You can apply to any 3D view any one of your saved settings. If I go to this view here, it'd be great if this looked like the other one. So instead of going through the hassle of going through this list, you go into the view here, and right there says view template. You can load the template into here, and it'll pass changes into this view. It'll take your recorded settings, isometric black and white shadows, and everything you recorded here for the other view, the scale, the fine level detail, all the options that you chose, and apply it to this view. Now they look the same. And if I want to avoid somebody coming into my file, or maybe yourself by accident, coming in here and making some changes by mistake and forgetting what the settings were originally, you can simply just put the template on here. And the template had all the recordings of all the settings. It goes back to normal. Now you cannot change anything here because these have been recorded into the template. All these commands are disabled. They're not here anymore. They're inside of here, the view template. That controls what this looks like. So if you go into here, the template, you can go into these menus here and make these changes. And every other view that has these settings are going to get affected. If I went to shadows and I told it, not shadows, the lighting, if I went to the lighting and I said, well, I want the shadows to be black, it's going to look like this. Any other view using this template is going to look the same way. See? So now you can control a standard, a style of lighting across multiple views without having to reinvent the wheel every single time you make a 3D view look a certain way. This looks the same as this. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? This technique is used for everything. Floor plans, elevations, 3D views, perspectives, isometric views. Any view can have a view template. It doesn't matter what it is. And you can push it into the view here under the view template. And so even if I go to this perspective view here, I can make this look like this, the design we just saw a second ago. I can just go into here, view template, and apply the one called black and white shadows. Now the scale is not going to, it's going to ignore the scale because there's no scale. It disappeared because you can't change the scale on the perspective view. See? Looks the same. I can only make a box this big and it's cutting off my roof here. And I don't like that. I'm going to fix this perspective for a second. I'm going to click on this view here. I'm going to go to my floor plan. And you see the camera right there? So if I move the camera back further, I can see more of the view. So now I go back to here, I can see more. See, I'm further back from the building. If you want to see that happen at the same time, what you should do is have the floor plan turned on, the camera turned on at the same time, nothing else. Let me turn off this project here. This is the sample project. I turn on these two views at the same time, a floor plan and a perspective view. I go to view, I go to tile views, and I type ZA, zoom all. Then when I click on this, it shows me the camera over there. Now this has a crop box on it, so I'm going to turn off the crop box because it's going outside. Crop boxes. See the crop boxes right here? See that box right there? It's hiding the camera. You see it? The camera was hiding. See outside the crop box? I'm going to disable the crop box here. You see? Crop region visible. I'm going to, this is you. What is this doing? Crop the view. No, don't crop the view. So click on this. That's the camera. I can move the camera closer to the building now. I can grab it, move it closer, and you can see the drawing just jumped. You can change your perspective very quickly. This is getting very distorted because on the edges here, they're getting very extremely distorted. So I'm gonna pull this box closer. But again, I can just make this change here quickly. I can grab the target, move the target, look at different stuff. And now it fits inside the box. This is the box that fits on my sheet. So now it fits. I can also go into here and make sure the eye level is right. I'm at 8'9" in the 8'7" in the air. Maybe you want to be at eye level, 5'6", or let's say 5 feet. See, now you're eye level. The camera goes down. Less floor, more sky. We'll have to check and see if that works. But when you're done, you can close the floor plan. That's a quick technique to fix your perspectives. And when you look at your um, sheet here called 3D views, you can get this look as good as possible, and those drawings are looking nicer. Other things you can do is you can go into here. Well, let's turn off this box. Let's turn off this view template. That way I can come into here and make changes. I just worked on hidden line and hidden line only. You have other options. You've got shaded mode. Why? Your shaded mode. You can have shaded mode without the lines. Right now the lines are here. You can, so hot lines are here and they're wide. Let me turn off the shadows for a second. The edges here are wide lined. I can turn off the edges and just show color. Color with shade and shadow typically looks better. You might want to see this view. Maybe you don't want to see the lines. Maybe the lines are too busy. This seems to be a nice view. You can turn off the edges, yes or no. The lighting here does change, I believe. Again, the shadows, you can make them darker. You can make them lighter. You can make the ambient brighter. See what happens? This changes in shaded mode. Doesn't work in black and white. And so here you can brighten or darken the scene according to the right number so it doesn't get washed out. Right? If it was too dark, maybe it needs to be 20 or something to make it look more appropriate. Again, I got rid of the edges, so all the hatch patterns disappeared too. Right? There's the hatch patterns. Maybe you want to see the hatch patterns. So the lighting does work here. And the areas here hit by the sun get brighter, I believe. See, this got brighter. This got brighter. The entire thing got brighter. It's similar to ambient light, but not exactly the same. But the sun, if it's turned off, you'll see what it does. It does this. And then you can either tweak the ambient. Here's 100% ambient. And or the sun. One's a little more subtle than the other. You can try that. Here's realistic. Doesn't work. And then here's the background. What do you want happening behind the building? Right now it's white. Nothing. You can have it set to the sky. This is what they call the sky. Here. If I, the sky is behind the building. If I go into here and turn off all the model categories, you can see what the sky looks like. It's a horizon, the ground, and then the sky above. So you can change this to look any which way you like. The background right here. This is the only thing you can change here is the ground. If you want to make the ground like look like grass or something, you can make the ground look green or something that looks obnoxious. You have options here. You can adjust. The other one is called gradient. So now you have the sky, the horizon, and the ground. So you can tweak this any which way you like. Maybe make this dark. See? And that becomes what happens behind the building. So when I turn on the building, you'll see it's behind the building. Right there. You can do that. It's completely up to you. Maybe the sky needs to be lighter. Maybe it needs to be darker. It's completely up to you to decide. And that's the background. And the last one is called image. And you can load a picture in here. If I do a picture here, I can go image. And let's say, for example, I had a week 10 folder for images, and I had like a sky, like this guy here. Double click this picture. Hit OK. Hit apply. Here's the sky. Or change the width or change the height of the sky. This is moving down. The height. Or I can change out the picture to something better. I think I tried this one here. This one with the buildings in the background and the trees. Looks like the trees and there's guy in the background. That looks much better. Maybe I want to save that as a template. Looks pretty good under shaded mode. Unless you like consistent colors better. But this is consistent colors. Doesn't look as good. Shaded mode, right? Maybe this is the style I want. Save it as a template. Um, perspective, exterior, color. And it saves these settings here. And when you make another exterior perspective, you can use the same settings, right? So if I go back into this model and I decided that I wanted a perspective looking down the street in front of the building this way. And again, whenever you make a perspective, always turn off far clip immediately, turn it off. Then this is what the front of the building looks like. I can click on the mouse and just tweak it a little bit. Again, make sure the far clip is turned off. It is. These are the materials. Crop. Don't crop. Oh, I see what's happening. Turn that back on. The crop is the camera. Crop. Okay. So there's the drawing. These are your column grid lines here. So I'm going to go to VG. Immediately, you want to turn off the categories, the annotation categories. And you decide where do you want to stand? What do you want to look at? From what angle? Again, make sure the camera is at a decent height above. You probably want to have less floor and more ceiling. And maybe you want to add that style to this. One called perspective exterior color. Um, something doesn't work here. Obviously, this looking very heavy. Maybe I can't use that style here. It's looking very heavy. So don't use it. But it applied the settings here. The camera's a little crooked. These columns are crooked now. So if I click here, you see the camera is at 5'1", looking at 3'7". Make these both the same height, and it'll fix the crookedness of the walls. And then this looks very heavy. Get rid of the template, but it keeps the settings. And then just circle back and change them. I want to make the lines medium lines. That looks, well, maybe I want to make them fine. Thin, what they call thin lines. Yeah, there. Right? You guys get the idea? And maybe save this as a template. Who knows? You might use it later. So when you go through your views, everything's going to be in color. You can decide how to, or it can be shade and shadow. I'll leave it up to you all to decide how you want to present your drawings. But this stuff can be obviously this is the 3D views without the roof, and also turn off the ceiling. Whereas the idea was to look inside the building. Maybe this needs to be in this corner of the building. I'm going to turn off this. Maybe this needs to be this corner of the building here. And this one needs to be the same exact corner of the building. Opposite corner, obviously, but turn off the unlock it and use the corner of the view cube to make sure they're consistently the same angle. And just make sure you go into this view. Again, I'm having trouble getting into that view, so I can pop open the sheet and I can click on it here. Turn off the ceilings because I need to look inside the building. Right? Turn off the ceiling because I need to look inside the building. Maybe add a view template to this called perspective exterior color or black and white shadows. Here's black and white shadows. Okay, maybe you want to use exterior color. Well, you probably want to use this without the background, right? That background doesn't work. right? So you might want to turn this on and then get rid of the template so that you can come into here and change the background, right? You want to get rid of this background, maybe have it set to none. Maybe this is another 3D view without the background. Well, make it a template. Save it as a template. Isometric, color, uh, no background. And then you can basically push it into here. This is going to use isometric color, no background. And then in my other 3D view here, I'm going to use the exact same design. Isometric view, color, no background. There. And so now your view looks like this. And then fix the crop box to make it not go off the page. Right? Doesn't that look a lot better? Crop this drawing so it doesn't go off the page. You don't want to leave it like this. Maybe you want to do that. If I look at the see what else we got in here. Interior views. If you want to change an interior view on the sheet, this drawing is too small. You want it as big as possible on the sheet. Double click. Do not double click. Double click. Click on the perspective. If you want to change its size, you click on it once. You go to size crop, and you only use the second choice, scale. That's the only thing you're going to choose here. Otherwise, it's going to distort your perspective drastically. Scale. And you type how big do you want it to be on the sheet? 24 inches. There. Now it's 24 inches big. Click on the view once. Size crop. Scale here. 24 inches. It becomes this big. Right? And then click on your little title blocks and make sure there's somewhere you can actually see them. It makes sense. And then fix any issues with the view. Let's see if there's any issues here. I mean, it's a little distorted. I mean, this is stretched out way far on both sides. These cabinets are being really stretched out, but a little bit of floor, more ceiling, which is good. But I would fix it by making this lower and pull this over a little bit. Maybe pull this over till they're not so. Because I can see that there's cabinets, there's bookshelves over there. I don't need to see the entire thing. But maybe this looks better. And maybe this drawing needs to be changed to 24 inches wide again. Again, you see how it stretches it? You want to avoid that. You go click on the perspective and you go size and you choose scale. Then make it 24. It makes the drawing bigger. It scales it up. So I'll go ahead and do that. 24 scale. Right? And it's sitting on your sheet. Then inside here, you decide what do you want it to look like. Maybe I'll try one of my templates. I don't know. Let's try black shadows. That looks pretty dark. How about isometric standard? That's a pretty standard view. How about the one called perspective exterior color? Hmm. What's wrong with this picture? What looks like it's off? You guys still in class? What looks like it's off? What needs to be fixed in this picture? No, no, no. See, actually, the 3D model is fine. The 3D model is correct. What's happening outside that window? Does that picture look correct? What do you think, Alexa? Yeah, the picture's too low. It looks like I'm on the third floor of a building. Look at the treetops. If you look at this perspective, I'm going to turn off the template for a second. This perspective's off. Where should that picture be? It's a very quick fix. You basically come in here and you take a look at the background as a gradient. You see that black line right there? That's where your eye's at. That's eye level right there. The picture horizon should be exactly in the same spot right here. That black line right there is where the picture should be. Horizon of the picture. So if I go into my image and I load this picture in here, it's too low. So when I come in here, I can move the picture up by using the height here, and I'm going to try an inch and see where it goes. See, it moves it up. So what you have to do is try to figure out, like, where is the horizon? Like over there, I can see a bit of the land here. It's flat. Looks like it's up there somewhere beyond. This looks like a hill. So if I move the picture down a little bit, maybe 3/4 of an inch, it might look a little more accurate. You can also move the picture left and right. For example, here, I can type 2 and it slides it over 2 inches. See? You can get it exactly where you want it to be. Maybe it's 4 inches. Apply. See? The horizon is right back there. That's about eye level. So it's too high still. So you keep moving it down, right? You move it down here. Maybe it should be a half or something. See? And so about eye level is right back there somewhere. So that picture now looks appropriate. If you don't do that work, your picture is going to look bizarre. It's going to be at an inappropriate height, or it's not going to match your perspective at all. So if you're going to use a photograph, make sure that the horizon in the photograph matches the horizon in your scene, or else you're going to have some crazy issues. All right, click on this. I'm going to make this picture 20 inches wide, getting too big. And then I can fix the crop, make it a little bit lower, just so it fits better on the sheet. Right? So then there's your perspective. If you like that style, you can take the exact same style and apply it to this view here. But again, you have to check and see if it's appropriate, if it looks good. I can make this style here a template. Interior, reading room, or interior color perspective. Okay, that's what this one's called. And here, I'm going to use it in the template. Interior color perspective. And then this one, I'm going to use the exact same style. Template. Interior color perspective. Let's see if it looks good. This is getting distorted over here. See this? Double click, grab the crop box, drag it over, and avoid that distortion. And you see how this table is being stretched out? It looks like an oval table. It's supposed to be circular. You stretched out the view too much. Less floor and more ceiling is what you're after, and then you're here. Does that look okay? And then check the camera. Looks like maybe the camera's too low. Let's see what's going on with the camera. Click on the camera. Camera is the box. Here it says, again, spark clip is always turned off. Don't forget. And here it says the camera is 5'6" looking up at 6'5". Something's off. So let's make it 5 feet looking up at 5 feet. You see, it came down a little bit, and the perspective is a little better looking. So you don't want to stretch these views too far. It looks awful when you stretch out the views too far. That's how you can tweak the view. If you had windows, you can basically see that outside there, but at least you can see the sky through the windows right there. So all the color views in this project are going to be in all the 3D views in this project are going to be in color. You decide what style you want: black and white, colorized like this, pictures, no pictures, gradients. Do whatever you like. Just make the drawings look good. All the other drawings are black and white. Any other questions? Anything I can help you with? Okay, I'm looking for a great set of drawings for you guys. Okay. Again, feel free to reach out to me outside the class. Schedule some time with me if you have any questions or issues you're having. I want you all to get caught up with everything. Um, I'll change the dates on the homework assignments, and looking forward to seeing your work on this final library project and your final project for the class, which is again your studio project in Revit as a set of construction documents. Again, black and white with dimensions, and you'll have a whole list of requirements in next week's assignment, a PDF. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good week. And I'm here if you need anything. Take care. This is our last class. So unless I hear from you, you won't hear from me. I'll see you later. Take care, everybody.